Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And this is the weekend workout where we take our body weight, which is all you need, and about half an hour, and we practice our skills, starting with a light warm-up, getting into some crawls, and eventually working towards our handstand progressions. Stay tuned as we work through all of those things, starting first with our body weight warm-up.
Excellent. And we'll start with the head and neck today. We'll take it into flexion, meaning chin towards the chest or looking down. Then lightly pull down on the front of the neck to safely look towards up or extension on the neck. Repeating again as a chin tuck, a little bit of a look down. Activate the front of the neck as you pull down to go up. And return the head looking straight ahead on the horizon. Now keeping the chin or the nose, either landmark in the same place. Now we'll do a lateral bend at the neck. Again, in this movement, the head moves, but the neck moves very, very little. Repeating to the other side. Lateral bend to the middle. One more time, lateral bend all the way through the middle, and the final time to the other side. Return to that middle position. We'll do the same actions now through the rib cage. Let's start with that lateral bend. With the hands across the body, shoulder blades lightly retracted. Easy effort, side bend. Then return to that tall center position and repeat to the other side. Imagine walls at the sides of your hips, and as we laterally flex here, we're making sure we stay over top of the ribs and the hips instead of leaning too far out of that cylinder, tube, or narrow hallway passage. Laterally bending, and let's go back to the front. Start with a very gentle chin tuck, and then round through that upper back, flexing forward as if a forward fold, and then keep the face looking down at the ground as we lift the heart or the extension of the T-spine up, and then gently reset with the head neck looking forward. Repeating again, modest chin tuck, shoulder blades retract, effortless flex or rounding shape forward, and now pull down on the abs, much like the neck, as you look to go up, stabilizing the core and mobilizing the spine. We'll come back to some different patterns like that, but first, let's get to the shoulder blades. With the hands in tight, low effort, do your shrug up, and then repeat the down phase. Then an up, and a down. And in our kettlebell practice, we like wearing those shoulder blades down. In the handstand practice, you'll often find those shoulder blades or shoulders elevated. Now just return to the middle of those two places. Now lightly, we've already done that, do the squeeze of the shoulder blades together, and then the rounding shape or the blades pressing around the rib cage to the front. Repeat again in our retraction or squeeze. Keep that rib cage down, and then a rounding shape flexing forward. Relax somewhere in the middle of all those beautiful places. We'll come back to more of those things up top here, but we'll take it to Lauren as you warm up some things, down here.
So the down here things might include our feet and our hips. Let's start with those feet which are touching the floor by gently pressing the knee forward and getting to that ball of foot. From here, you will use our toes to point, and we'll hold that pointed foot, trying to shoot energy out the toes, having long toes at the end like you would in your handstand. Then go back through the ball of foot, pause there. We'll go up to a light balance, come down, and repeat on the other side. Standing leg hip is forward. Use your toes to point. Lightly lift them off the floor, finishing that toe point, but using the bottom of the foot. Toe ball, double up, switch sides. One more time each as we point, point, point. You can have a look. How does it look? Oh, what a beautiful foot. And then up and switch, point those toes, hold maybe a light cramp or close to, but try to work through that. Then double ball, and we'll go up to two. Holding our first balance today, but on our feet for starts. Squeeze your cheeks, try to move your head around, keeping your torso stationary, and then bring it back to center and land slowly onto your heels. Once the heels land, bend the knees, sending the hips lightly towards the back wall. Our knees are tracking about our index toes there, and we're trying not to let them just come in towards the midline together. Then we'll extend the hips through, squeezing the cheeks up. And let's repeat that again. Knees bend, hips lightly sit back. Oh yeah. Then press the hips through. And this time we're going to come down there and stay the same height. So come on down, knees towards over toes. Then from here, let's peel one heel up. And then put it down and peel the other heel up. and then put it down. And this time similar, but heel comes up, and then come up to 2 balls of feet, and then the other heel down. And we'll march through this bent leg balance for 1 or 2 more here, ending with both heels off the floor, pushing out of that, and then controlling the landing. Give that a little shake. Next, we'll warm up those internal and external rotations of the hips. So we'll turn one leg open to show me the inseam, and the other leg open to show the inseam, putting our heels close together. We'll take a single leg, transfer our weight so we're stacked, and then point the other leg out front. With that leg out front, our inseam is facing forward and external rotation. Without moving the hips, pelvis, we'll rotate the leg in to hide the inseam into internal rotation. And then we'll rotate it open again. Notice as you do that the top of your hip bones are staying nice and level, and we're not changing that belt line. We're only changing the leg in the socket as we end in external rotation. Send the leg to the side and repeat the same thing here. Turn the leg in, turn the leg open. Nice and stable core, nice and steady pelvis as you turn in, turn open. We're going to land on that leg, transfer a full weight balance, hold. We'll pull that leg underneath and then point it to the front and repeat. Pelvis stayed stationary. Turn the leg in, hiding the inseam. Turn the leg open. Remember, this is happening at that big bone in the top of the thigh, not the ankle. Rotate open. Send the leg to the side and repeat again. Hips are forward. Standing leg is squeezed as we turn in. Turn open. Turn in. Turn open. We'll land on that turned open leg. Transfer our weight to point. And then pull a straight leg underneath. Give that a little shake and wiggle. Hopefully those hips and feet are feeling more alive as we next get to
the theme park. We'll take the theme park experience to the rib cage and that head neck. Open up your stance just a little bit, very similar where Lauren had us in that wider squat stance. And at the head neck first, pull the chin down. Then slide to the right or the left. Then lift up to create room and go up and over the arc of the top and then pull it back down. Repeat. Over to one side, up reaching the crown high, then over across the top and then back down. Let's repeat in the other direction. So it's pulling down, sliding one way, lifting up and over and pulling back down. And again, one last time in a circle shape, drawing a circle on the wall in front of you, going up and down and around. Let's do the same effort at the rib cage. So with the hands tight to the body with the shoulders retracted, compress the rib cage onto the hips, engage the stability muscles of the core. From here, I'll slide to one side, then I'll lift up and over and pull down to compress onto the hips. And I'll slide across one more time. We'll lift up, but we're still active on that shield, and then across and down to center. Reversing the direction, we compress or pull down, we'll slide, and we'll lift up. Ensuring that the shoulders don't lift up, the anchors of the shoulders and the anchors of the core keep us stable, and we're trying to move again just a little bit through that rib cage in these nice, gentle Ferris wheel inspired circles. More of that to come. Let's get to the ground and warm up those wrists. Lower, and with those hands or without, we'll push the hips through, and then a quick wrist warm up, Lauren.
So for our wrists here today, we'll be connecting our fingers down through the floor, then that callus line, and then that full palm. Once we get here, let's check in with those shoulders, and we'll shrug them up once, I don't know, and then we'll pull them down. Next, we'll look at those elbows and rotate the elbow pits backwards. Keeping the shoulders where they are, just like we did the femurs, we'll rotate the elbow pits forward. With those elbows forward, nice and straight as we want in our handstand, our shoulders in this context out of our ears, we'll gently drift a little bit forward to get some wrist extension, meaning our shoulders are coming towards over top of our fingertips. Then we'll use our fingers to push ourselves back, and then again we'll pull on the floor and drift forward, keeping the elbows straight, keeping the shoulders down. Now, push the fingers forward to go back. And one more time in that wrist extension. As you're here, feel how you use all your fingers, that connection through the palm of the hand as well, under those knuckles and around the base, not just through the wrist. Then we'll flick the floor away by lifting the palms off the floor and then flicking the fingers out. We'll do a full 180-degree turn of those hands, landing fingers towards the knees, calluses, and then again palms. Shoulders are down, elbows are straight. All of your fingers are touching the floor as you lightly sit back, but keep the shoulders coming with you. Then push the fingers down to rock yourself forward. And let's do that one more time. Let's sit back. And now as we're sitting back here, could you push your fingers heavy and feel the front of those forearms light up a little bit? Pew, pew. Then we'll drift forward. We'll bend the elbows, peel the palms away, and give that a little shake out. Whoa. Check in how your wrists are feeling throughout today's practice. We know there's a lot of work and tension that runs through them, and we want to make sure that you can keep doing it and that this may be your limiting factor, but build the strength so it's not.
Strength. Got it. That's a cue for me. We went from the Ferris wheel shapes at the head and the neck and the T-spine, and let's go to those salt and pepper shakers, or that one that we turn ourselves over on our axis around our hips.
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, it's our forward roll. I guess that's a convoluted way to say forward roll. So take your hands in a wider stance, kind of a Y shape here, and just turn a single hand up at the hip. Then bending the elbow with the hand on the floor, look through that window and breathe. Then from there, get back to that wide hand shape out front and repeat on the other side. A hand turns up. We can breathe into that as we reach and look through the window. And then back up to top. Continue to do that for a couple more in a row, or let's take that for a little bit of a turn. So the hand goes to the hip with the palm up. I'll look through that window, and then using my legs just a little bit, I'll roll over my shoulder blade to my opposite side hip.
It's a bit of a...
Take a second. Pardon me?
That wasn't the best one I've ever done.
That's all right. It's kind of our first one. So then we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. As the hand turns up at the hip, we can look through that window using the legs. And as long as it's quiet, it's good. Repeating one or two more. When you do forwards, we can eventually start to do backwards. Let's just work it on the front side first. So Lauren's palm is up. We're looking through that window, and we can roll across, finishing in a nice tall pose. And maybe one more time for Lauren as the hand is up. Pull ourselves through. Woo! Amazing if you can pull yourself up into that squat. How do you feel being upside down in that handstand? We'll be in those vulnerable positions as well, so making sure we're okay with the topsy-turvy side of things as well.
Let's get started into our first crawl today, prepping both our mobility and our strength. So we will start in our plank position, which means our hands will be under our shoulders. Our toes will be, our pants will be pulled up, our toes will be tucked, and we'll lift those hips up in line with our body. Grip the hands to the floor, pull your shoulders down, squeeze your butt cheeks. If I came through the screen and lifted up your legs, I could lift you into a handstand because you're solid like a board. Now start at the hips and tip the hips towards the ceiling. Then slowly walk your hands to your feet. Walk your feet to your hands as close as you can get them with your hands flat. And then walk your hands forward out into another plank position. In this plank again, create the tension, pulling the shoulders down, squeezing the cheeks, breathing and bracing for 3, 2, then lift the hips up. Walk the feet towards the hands as close as you can get them. Maybe you got a little closer this time. And we're going to do one more time. Walk those hands forward. Breathing. Shoulders are out of your ears. Cheeks are squeezed. High tension for 3, 2. Then hips lift. Feet walk towards those hands. Get as tight as you can, keeping the knees as straight as you can. And then slowly tuck your chin. Use your core and stack your vertebrae up one at a time so that your head is last to land and you're standing back up tall. Ooh.
Topsy-turvy, upside down. How does the blood feel in the head? But again, as Lauren mentioned, how do those wrists feel? Take your time as we slowly load those skills. We've worked in squats in that very tight or parallel position. We've opened up just a little bit, and let's open up a little bit more to your wider stance squat. Some weight transfer squats here. Let's pull ourselves down together. Hands off of those knees. Anywhere else is good for me though. And then pull those legs together as we stand up. Now point the foot, land with a straight leg, and then blend in that knee bend, and do the same thing to the other side, assembling the feet together. We'll find that very similar squat stance, but this time we find a single leg as we transfer the weight. And then point, and then land, and repeat. Cramp up that standing leg, maybe have that balance aid nearby, point, and land. And just one more time, try to find that knee, cramping up that standing leg hip as we point and land. And final time here, stick the landing. Whew, thank goodness for that bar there. And then point and just land in that nice squat one more time and push the floor out to push the hips through. Shakes, wiggles, and it's back to Captain Giggles here.
We are going to continue firing up that core and working through our bear crawl here. So come on down. Let's use our hinge to get there. Hips hinge back, slowly peel the heels up. Come on down to all fours. First, let's explore the bear crawl with 6 points of contact. That's 2 hands, 2 knees, and 2 feet. Opposite hand and knee, foot lift at the same time and take a step in the forward direction. We're peeling the hands away from the floor, keeping the shoulders out of our ear, and imagine we have a fancy bowl of water on our back we don't want to spill. Let's pattern that same thing in the backwards direction. Opposite hand and foot as you push forward to go back, no tipping side to side, and then end with your hands and shoulders and knees underneath you. Next, if that was hard enough for you with those knees down, continue, or hover the knees just off the floor. Remember, no twisting, no tipping. Try to reach forward, not too far, but not too close, trying to keep the length through your core and not get crumpled in the side body. Try not to tip from side to side, so have that inside out core stability. And once you get one more step further forward, could we walk it backwards back? Again, push the floor forward to send it back. Peel the hands away. No tipping from side to side. Last 3, 2, hands underneath shoulders, hips will lift up. Come back up via your hinge position. So load those hammies and extend, pressing through. To tall.
To tall. Awesome. As Lauren takes us to the zoo, let's do one exhibit at that zoo from standing tall. We could call this our horse walk, spider walk, or just a fun squat walk if we're out of other terms. So we'll start with those feet in a tight position, and we'll sit squat, creating a nice diamond shape. Now transfer weight to one leg and reach and pull and push with the other leg. Then return the heels together and then push the hips through to stand up. Again, we'll sit low, reach to the side and pull, stretch that back leg, heels together and push through. For 2 more, stay low the entire time. Pull ourselves low, transfer weight and feel a pull and a push effort, heels together, staying the same height, diagonal reach, pull, heels together, tall stand. Now repeat the same thing in the back direction with the challenge to stay low the entire time. Pull yourself low, reach your leg back, push into the front leg, and assemble heels. Straight leg back, push into the front leg, heels together, one more time each, to the back with our push, heels, and final time, push to the front to go back, heels together, and push forward. Like in the handstand, it's a rule of opposites. Push one way and go the other. Next at the zoo though, Lauren, is the
Kick up.
Ooh.
That's an animal you've never heard of.
Excellent.
So today we worked on a couple crawls. When you could continue with those versions of crawls as we explore 2 or 3 rounds of our kick-ups here. Our kick-ups come in a couple different ways. Our first way of practicing today, we'll go I go, you go, and Ian will start here in that tripod entry. So what that means is his hands are on the floor, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Now, if you've never kicked up before, let's start with the babiest of air. So you are just going to get a little bit off the floor. Explore what it's like to put weight through your hands, to get to head towards upside down. The control you need to bring yourself back to the same position. Try about 3 on one leg, and then try kicking up with 3 on the other side. Stay in control right now. Keep it small for your first set. Push the floor away and stand up nice and tall.
3 or 4 in a row, as Lauren said, keeping our volume low and the integrity of these movements high. So Lauren has that awesome straight leg in the back. We're setting up with heavy fingertips, shoulders over, and just making sure that you're breathing throughout this exercise too. Making sure that you go through that checklist and it never changes. It just gets a little bit more automatic every time. I go, you go. If you just went, take a rest. And if not, let's do it one more time.
So one more time in that tripod position. I like this because I can place my hands in a nice position. I can shift my shoulders over top of my wrists. And if you're just exploring with that small air, keep it small. If you're kicking up a little higher, let's make it our goal to find the kick we need to get upside down and not too much more than that. So too much more might mean you go sideways. Let's keep it to just upside down here. The other thing that will help you is keeping that leg long out the back, reaching in that L-like shape. That will always bring you back to the floor where you started. So try that for a couple. Sorry.
Shaking things out in the middle because it is high tension when you're doing it. So keep things nice and light in between. So as Lauren mentioned, keep it nice and low. Avoid the overkick and come home safe, that your body knows that that is the position for you, much like that one Lauren just showed. Again, the legs are straight and that other leg out to the side aims to keep you nice and balanced. And if you are going to go over, you're more likely to go the way of that trailing leg. A little bit safer that way as well. Shakes and wiggles. Another set of squats with me here. And for that, just trying to find that tension. So let's open up into your squat stance. 3 quick reps here. As we descend in that squat, feel this pulling effort on the groin, the adductors, and good connections to the floor. And on the up, push yourself down to go up. Repeating again, feel a pull effort as we go down. Find the pinky side of the foot so we're nice and grounded all the way through. And then push out from center, pushing the hips through. One more time, feel a pull effort down and push yourself away to go up. And then push one way to go the other, shake it out. And now it's my favorite handstand entry, the step in.
So that step in entry will start with our arms overhead in that hollow-like shape. Again, start with a baby amount of kick up. So your hands are going to land, you're going to lightly kick the floor away and just get a little bit off the floor for now. A little bit off the floor, that trailing leg out behind you. And we're just figuring out how much we need in order to get towards vertical. As you can see, Ian is pushing the floor away to come back up to standing. So still try to incorporate that part. It's a whole approach, the landing as well as the takeoff. I don't know which one's the landing and which one's the takeoff in this case, but get back to standing every time.
That's right. Using the friction, the tension in the floor to help us come up. So Lauren stepping in and pushing the floor away, getting nice and tall again. 3 or so per side. We will have that favorite or preferred side. So do that one, but do the other one too. And it will not only challenge the brain, it'll make the other side even easier. So challenge yourself both ways. Great. And last 1 or 2 there for Lauren. Awesome. And then a shake.
One more set.
You go, I go, we go together.
So one more set of step-in entries here for Ian. As he starts with those arms overhead and in that hollow shape, meaning connecting the ribs to the hips even before you're into your handstand. So make that connection in your upright position so you can keep it in your upside down position. Again, being careful here. It starts with 1, making sure that you don't have a ceiling fan that's too low in your house. And 2, landing softly on those hands and just getting used to the amount of press off the floor you need to get towards upside down. Take your time.
Taking the time and repeating again. I was using this little scissor switch on that where I got myself a little more hang time or upside down time by switching those legs, just like what Lauren did right there. So take your time with those baby airs, the quieter the better, and return back up to that tall standing position. Little scissor switch, press away in the last couple of repetitions, and then 1 more squat and 1 more minute of fun before we're completely done. Squats, Lauren, any goals, any suggestions here?
Don't make me hang out at the bottom for too long.
Okay, I promise we won't. But let's just open up to that wider squat stance yet again and pull ourselves down. Much like that earlier practice of walking like a horse or a spider, let's pull ourselves to one side, point the leg, and just pretend to lift, and then tap it down. Then pull it across and do the same thing on the other side. Pretend to lift.
This is more like actual lifting.
Right, that's right. And if we can't lift that leg without shifting the weight, tighten up your stance a little bit to that place where we do have that strength to lift it. And we'll pull across just one more time, and the same thing on the other side. Stabilize through the core and pull from the core and the hips next. Final one each side, we'll lift it up and down, and one more time, up, down, pull to the middle, and again, continue to push the floor away as we push those hips through. Shake and wiggle. And how are we going to finish today's practice, Lauren?
So we have 1 minute of fun, which means we put a full minute on the clock, and we try to spend that time on our wrists, building up that endurance. Now, it might be a full minute, it might end up being 45 seconds, but whatever it is you're going to try, it could be your crawling adventures from earlier, like your bear crawl or your inchworm version of things. It could be working on your kick-ups for the 30 seconds at a time, and it could be trying to hold that handstand. Whatever it is you choose, we're going to start in 5 seconds, and might get a little quiet here as we focus in 3, 2, 1 minutes on the clock.
Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of work for today.
Oh, that was a
Taking
full,
it out.
that was a full minute.
That was a lot of time.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time kicking up there.
That's okay. So have a lot of fun with your workout, but take your time as we try to advance these skills. That was week 2. You have a lot more weeks to go until the end of this semester and a whole year for you to achieve your ultimate goal of the handstand or just nice body weight mobility exercises shared with each other on Saturdays.
It all starts again on Tuesday with the kettlebell practice, on Thursday with our bar, which we explore our hip mobilities and overhead presses, and then we're back here. So 3 times a week, you can have a workout with us. Check in the archive if you want to do anything in between or you can't make it to those live sessions. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out our website and our Patreon page. And until next time, take care.
Stay strong.
And let's train soon.
Have a good day.
Goodbye.